So let's do this one. And to make it easier, I'm going to use red to find my x coordinates. So 3 and negative 10 are my x coordinates. And I'll use blue for my y coordinates. And to do this, let's first remember the midpoint formula. The midpoint formula is it's going to be x1 plus x2, that whole thing over 2, and y1 plus y2, that whole thing over 2. So let's do the x to start with. So what I know is that the midpoint coordinate for x is going to be negative 10. And I know that one of my endpoints, that's going to be equal to, one of my endpoints is 3, and the other one I'll call x. And that whole thing over 2. So let's solve this. The first thing I need to do, we'll do it all in black here, the first thing I need to do is multiply both sides by 2. So if I do that on this side, I end up with negative 20 equals 3 plus x. I then subtract 3 from both sides, and I end up with x equals negative 23. So I know that my x coordinate is going to be negative 23. Now let's do the same thing with y. With y, I know my midpoint is actually going to be negative 10, and that's going to equal 2 plus y, and that whole thing over 2. So once again, let's multiply both sides by 2, and I end up with negative 20 equals 2 plus y. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides, and I end up with y equals negative 22. So I now know my midpoint is going to be, my x-coordinate is negative 23, and my y-coordinate is negative 22. And if, I call that the midpoint, excuse me, it's not the midpoint, it's the endpoint is going to be negative 23, negative 22. And when I average that with this endpoint, I'm going to get these midpoints.